Hello again, knitters. It's me. I took a little bit of time today to talk about cast-ons and bind-offs. I had many people emailing me with questions about it, how you do this, how you do that, different cast-ons. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is to cast on, mostly it does not matter what style of knitting you use. You can use the continental or German, you can use the American English style, or you can use the Portuguese, it doesn't matter. All the cast-ons are about the same because the yarn is not tensioned anywhere yet, most of it, okay? With the exception of the Portuguese cast-on, that's the only cast-on I know that has the yarn wrapped around your neck or wrapped around the pin. All the other cast-ons that I do, including long tail cast-on, German twisted cast-on, a couple more. There are tons of it. They do not have the yarn tension around the neck, so it does not matter if you do it Portuguese or not. That's the first point I want to bring to it. As far as binding off, there is the Portuguese binding off too. But to bind off is a little bit different. I do bind off carrying the yarn around the neck or the pin. So I'm going to show you today one cast on and one bind off as per request. The cast on I'm going to show you is the German twisted cast on. And the bind off is the Jenny Surprisingly Very Stretch bind off. The reason I'm going to show you that, first of all, it's because it's very stretchy and I like it. And secondly, because I want you to see how I do using the yarn around the pin. Okay? So I hope that's clear. If you have more questions about casting on and binding off, please reach me at andreawongknits.com. And also make sure you check my website, follow me on social media, and we'll keep in touch, okay? Okay, knitters, here I am ready to demonstrate to you the German twisted cast on. Okay, so I had a request recently and I'm going to show you. But again, I want to remind you that casting on or putting stitches on the needle doesn't involve much the style that you use to knit. Meaning you're not tensioning the yarn yet with your right hand English style or your left hand German style or Portuguese style, having the yarn around the knitting pin. What you're doing is just putting stitches on the needle so you can start working. The only cast on that I know that uses the Portuguese style as tensioning the yarn around the neck is the Portuguese style, the Portuguese cast on. Okay, so if you're confused, how do you do the German twisted cast on Portuguese style? How do you do the long tail Portuguese style? That doesn't happen. Casting on is just one needle, yarn in your hands, and no style involved. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to demonstrate the German twisted cast on as I had a request recently. And this is a very good and very stretchy cast on. And after I demonstrate this, I'm going to show you the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy bind off. So if you have a project that requires either one or both to be very stretchy, here it goes the demonstration for you. The German twisted cast on belongs to the long tail family of casting on. So plan to have a tail that will be enough for the number of stitches you have to cast on. Okay, so I have here a tail just to do a few for you. I'm going to make a slip knot and I'm going to put this on my needle. There we go. And I'm going to make a slingshot just like I do for long tail cast on. Most of you are familiar with the long tail cast on, okay? So let me briefly demonstrate, not to confuse you, but to show you the difference. I am holding my first stitch here with my index finger. The long tail cast on, you would do this. You would come up, pick up that string, and down. Okay? The German twisted cast on, you are going to go under both strands. You are going to dip the needle and untwist this, pick up that strand, bring it through, and release. It's a lot of steps here. Let's do that again slowly, and I'm gonna show you. Okay, so with your needle you go under both strands, and then you are going to dip the needle under and untwist that loop. You pick up that strand, bring into the loop, and release. Again, go under both strands, dip into it. I bring my thumb down so I can go pick up that strand, bring it to the loop, and release. There you go. That's the German twisted cast on. Dip into it, bring the thumb down, and there. Okay, so you can actually watch this slowly, but I hope I demonstrate 5 times that you can get the hang of it. It's a beautiful stretchy cast on again. So that's my demonstration. All right, Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. So what I have here is just a ribbing, purl 1, knit 1, and I'm gonna bind off in pattern so I can show you. Okay, what I'm gonna say is that what we do in this bind off is put yarn over before you bind off every stitch, so that gives more yarn to the stitch, and that's why it's so stretchy. So you're going to start, my first stitch here is a purl stitch. As I always start, I'm gonna make a yarn over on the right hand needle, and I'm gonna purl the first stitch, and I'm gonna bind off by passing the yarn over the stitch. Okay, now my next stitch is a knit stitch. So instead of doing a yarn over normally, I'm gonna do backwards, just like that, and I'm going to knit and pass the yarn over the knit, and the first stitch over that one too. There we go. We bound off 2 stitches. I'm going to bind off the purl, yarn over normally from front to back, purl that stitch. Now with the tip of the left hand needle, I'm going to bind off this stitch, bind off the next one. So from now on we bind off twice every stitch. Okay, and now my weird yarn over, I go all the way around so I can knit the next stitch, pass that yarn over the stitch, and the previous stitch over the stitch, and that's how we go. I'm gonna bind off one more, and then we can stop and look. I'm gonna put this stitch here so we can stop and look. See, you are binding off in pattern, but it's actually very big and very loose and very stretchy. So I hope you enjoyed that. If it's too loose, you can go a needle size, a smaller needle size, but the point is to be stretchy. Okay, so now you have a very stretchy cast on, the German twisted, and a very stretchy bind off for your needs. Okay, for many projects that are going to come your way. So questions, don't forget, AndreaWongKnits@gmail.com. Also check my website, andreawongknits.com. Thank you. If you're interested in the pins that I use during class and for more like patterns and necklaces and other items, please refer to my website, andreawongknits.com. There you're going to find all you need for Portuguese style knitting.